I come from a small town nestled in the Appalachian Mountains. I come from a small town nestled within the Appalachian Mountains. Nearly 100 years ago, my community served as one of the largest producers of coke and coal in the world. The destruction caused by these mining companies still haunts my small town. Huge mountains of coal waste stand amidst our forests, and chemicals from these dumps still continue to pollute local waterways and our environment. I grew up with one of these dump sites in my backyard. Instead of having a playground as a kid, I had a mountain of waste left behind by the fossil fuel industries. While people in my community were giving up their rights to clean water and air to provide energy for a growing America, places like Massachusetts benefited from the exploitation. Now I see a similar narrative unfolding. After the fall of the coke and coal industry in southwestern Pennsylvania, many communities, including my own, struggle to support themselves economically. Many families are impoverished, and the lack of infrastructure and opportunities within the towns make it difficult to find a better way of life. However, a new extraction industry is giving some people false hope within my community: hydraulic fracturing for natural gas. The national demand for natural gas, what we deem as clean energy, has made the industry very profitable for families and companies that rest on top of the Marcellus Shale. In want of a better life, members of my community disregard the effects that this industry is having on our health and on our environment. They forget that the coal industry once allowed us to prosper economically, but marred our land and left us struggling to survive. They forget that the natural gas industry will do the same thing. But I do not blame members of my community for working for these companies or selling away their rights for want of a better life. They see no other way out because we aren't providing alternatives. At Wellesley College, I'm living in a place that is benefiting from the exploitation of my hometown. My school touts its low carbon footprint, marking how the entire campus is fueled with this clean and cheap natural gas. I must live with this while I know that back home, a pipeline is being built into my dad's favorite fishing lake to pump absurd amounts of water to the nearest fracking well. Back home, a dump truck is turned away from the landfill only a few miles from my family's house because the load contains too much radioactive fracking waste. And even though I know that waste is being deposited somewhere. And back home, legislation is being passed to pump acidic and polluted water from abandoned coal mines into the ground to extract natural gas. And back home, fracturing attempts gone wrong are forcing that same water into the few clean drinking wells we have left. This is all happening with our current demand of natural gas. But if we continue to rely on this form of energy, the health of even more communities will be jeopardized by the risky extraction practices of the natural gas industry. If we continue to build infrastructure to burn and use natural gas in places like Massachusetts, we are asking communities like mine to give up their rights to clean water and clean air so that we may have the luxury of using an energy we falsely consider to be clean. But in the end, Massachusetts cannot continue to follow its legacy of benefiting from the exploitation of other communities. By building natural gas plants within our state, we are constructing a future dependent on fossil fuel industries and the exploitation of others. Governor Patrick, I do not want to live in a state that chooses to build a future on the shoulders of my hometown. I want to live in a state that chooses to build only the best energy infrastructure in order to show places across the nation that alternatives do exist. Governor Patrick, I am here today asking you to leave behind a legacy that is just and stable for our generation and future generations. I am here today to ask you to make a monumental step forward by banning the construction of all new fossil fuel infrastructure within Massachusetts. Thank you.